Hello everyone, this is Yashfa Khan. Today we're gonna start 6th class, chapter 4th, which is a poem, The Walrus and the Carpenter. This is the poem which is composed by Lewis Carroll, and in this is quite humorous kind of poem, and it is a narrative story poem. Because you will see the text of it, you will find it like that it is a complete story, and obviously it is given in the story, but it is in the form of a poem. And the theme of this poem is death and betrayal, and how it is the theme that we will come to know when we will start the text. So let's come to its text. When we will read the text of this poem, we will come to know that this poem is some facts are given here as some stupid kind of facts which cannot be real. So we will see it now. The sun was shining on the sea, shining with all his might. The poet is saying that at which time he is talking about, at that time the sun was shining on the sea, and at that time the sun was at its complete might. The sun was shining very brightly. He did his very best to make the billows smooth and bright, and its sun rays were reflecting on the sea waves, and it was making it very smooth and bright. And this was odd, but this thing was very odd. Why was it odd? Because it was the middle of the night. Means it's really quite odd thing, because when we will read the further text, we will find here so many odd things in this poem. So here the poet is saying it is quite odd that at the time of night the sun is shining on the sea when it's not its time to be shining here. Okay, now we will come to the second stanza. The moon was shining sulkily because she thought the sun had got no business to be here. After the day was done, it's very rude of him, she said, to come and spoil the fun. Of course, that was a time for the moon to be in the sky, and at that time, sun was shining with all its might. So of course, that made moon very unhappy, and complainingly it was saying that this is not the time for sun to be here, and sun doesn't have any business to be here at this time, because it's the time of moon to be in the sky. And at that time, we don't know what sun was doing there. And the moon said that it is very rude of him because he has come to spoil the fun for the moon. Now next, the sea was wet as wet could be. The sea was very wet, means the sea was it was flowing very smoothly there. The sand was dry as dry. You could not see a cloud because no cloud was in the sky. Means at that time there was no cloud in the sky. The sky was completely clear. No birds were flying overboard, and there was no birds also, so we cannot see. There was no birds to fly, so we cannot see any kind of bird. There was no bird, no cloud. The sand was dry and the sea was wet. The walrus and the carpenter were walking close at hand. But at that time when this was the atmosphere, we found that there was a walrus and a carpenter on the beach, on the sea. They were holding their hands, and they were walking very close to each other. They wept like anything to see such quantities of sand. When they saw that much quantity of sand, they started to weep. If this were only cleared away, they said it would be very grand. Means they did not like the sand, and they said if this sand would be cleared from the sea, then it will be very good thing. Now, walrus is saying, if 7 maids with 7 mops swept it all for half a year, do you suppose? Now the walrus is saying that they could get it clear. Means the walrus is saying that if we will arrange 7 maids with their 7 mops to clear this sand, so do you think that they would be able to clear it within a half a year? I doubt it, said the carpenter, and shed a bitter tear. But the carpenter said, I don't think so that it is possible, and he just have doubt of it. Oh, oysters, come and walk with us, the walrus did beseech. The walrus begged with oysters, because oysters were there nearby the sea. So he requested to them that, oh oyster, come and just have walk with us. A pleasant walk, a pleasant talk along the briny beach. Means they will just walk for some time, they will just have talk with each other, oysters, walrus and the carpenter, and they will walk on the salty water of the beach. We cannot do more than 4 to give a hand to each. Means at least we can enjoy there, and we just can hold a hand of each other, and just we can take a round of the beach. The eldest oyster looked at him, but never a word he said. The eldest oyster winked his eye and shook his heavy head. At that time there was one eldest oyster also. He looked at walrus and the carpenter, but he did not say a word. The eldest oyster winked his eye and shook his heavy head. Means he shook his head in denial form. And when he was shaking his head, meaning to say that he did not choose to leave the oyster bed. Means he was not agreed with walrus and the carpenter, and he was not ready to leave the oyster bed of him. So he did not want to take a walk on the beach. But 4 young oysters hurried up, all eager for the treat. But which other 4 young oysters were there? They were ready, and they were ready for having the treat. Their coats were brushed, their face washed. Means, as you know that if we are going in a party or if we are going for a treat, we used to get up and we used to dress ourselves very properly. The same was with the walrus, so same was with the oysters. They just brushed their coats and they washed their faces, their shoes were clean and neat. And this was also a quite odd thing. In the starting we found one odd thing, that was that the sun was shining at night. And the second odd thing we found that the oysters had shoes and coat, and they wash their faces also. Well, they don't even have the feet. So means in this poem we are finding quite odd things. 4 other oysters followed them, and yet another 4, and thick and fast they came at last, and more and more and more. Means now 4 other oysters also followed them. They started to follow, and yet another 4. After that there were so many, and they were following the walrus and the carpenter, all hopping through a frothy waves and scrambling to the shore. And they were just walking by, they were just climbing over the beach by using both the hands. The walrus and the carpenter walked on a mile or so, and walrus and carpenter walked a mile, and many more miles they were walking on. And then they rested on a rock conveniently low, and they were taking rest on a rock. And all the little oysters stood and waited in a row. Which other oysters were there? They were standing there and they were waiting in a row. The time has come, the walrus said, to talk of many things, of shoes and ships, sealing wax, the sealing wax of cabbage and kings. Now, means when walrus and carpenter brought all the other oysters so far from their area, now the walrus said, now the time has come that we should talk about some of the things. What are those things? Those are, we will talk about the shoes, ships, sealing wax, cabbage and kings. Why the sea is boiling hot, and whether pigs have wings. Means they have some of the topics that they were going to talk about, as one of the topic was shoes, of ships, the sealing wax, of cabbage, kings, and they were talking about why the sun is boiling this much hot, and why the pigs maybe whether the pigs also have some wings. But wait a bit, the oyster cried, before we have our chat, for some of us are out of breath, all of us are fat. But one of the oysters said there that okay, we will start our chat, but before starting that, I just want to say that we are very fat, and because of walking for so long, we are out of breath. Means they were not able to take breath. No hurry, said the carpenter. They thanked him for that much. Means the carpenter said, no problem, there is no hurry. So now the oysters thanked him for that thing, that he understood their situation. A loaf of bread, the walrus said. Means the walrus said, we have a loaf of bread is what we chiefly need. Means is the thing that we right now needed chiefly. Paper and vinegar beside are good very indeed. The walrus said that after the loaf of bread we have the vinegar and paper also, which is quite indeed good. Now if you are ready, oyster dear, we can begin to feed. Means up to now the poem was going on in this way, that walrus and carpenter brought all the oysters out of their area. They brought them so far, miles of far, and now when they were ready and they came there and their chat was about to start, their matter of discussion was about to start, walrus said that they will eat oysters, and that is why they made ready a loaf of bread, paper and vinegar. But not on us, the oyster cried, turning a little blue. When the oyster heard this thing by walrus, they cried, and means they completely became shocked. After such kindness, that would be a dismal thing to do. Means they were saying, you have showed us so kindness, and after showing this such kind of kindness, that this really will be very sad and horrible thing that you would eat us, that the walrus and the carpenter would eat the oysters. The night is fine, the walrus said. Do you admire the view? The walrus said, the night is quite fine. Do you like the view? It was so kind of you to come, and you are very nice. We really appreciate. Walrus and carpenter said that we really appreciate that you came with us and you are really very nice. The carpenter said nothing but cut us another slice. And after that, the carpenter just cut the slice of the oyster. I wish you were not quite so deep. I have asked you to twice. Means the carpenter is saying that I wish you were not quite so deep. Means the carpenter was calling the oyster deep because they did not hear what they really meant. It seems a shame, the walrus is saying, and just having a pity on oyster, but in actuality he doesn't have any kind of pity with the oyster because he is eating them. It seems a shame to play them such a trick, and after we brought them so far and made them trot so quick, and now the walrus is saying it is very shameful thing for us that we brought them this much far and we are just eating them. The carpenter said nothing but the butter spread too thick. But carpenter was very busy in enjoying the oyster. He just spread the butter also on the oyster and he was ready to eat. I weep for you, the walrus said. The walrus was eating, but he was having little bit sympathy with the oyster. I weep for you. I deeply sympathize. With sobs and tears, he sorted out those of the largest size, holding his pocket handkerchief before his streaming eyes. Means the walrus was seeming so sad, and he was just clearing his tears, and he was having the sympathy with the oysters. Oh, oyster, said the carpenter, you have had a pleasant run. Shall we be trotting home again? But answer came there none, and this was very scarcely odd because they had eaten everyone. Now the carpenter said, oh, oysters, you have had a very pleasant run. Should we go to home? Means now the carpenter is asking very sarcastically because he knew very well that he had eaten all the oyster. But even then he was asking to the oyster that would they like to go to home? But there was no answer because carpenter has already eaten all of the oysters. There was no oyster which was remaining. So means this is quite humoristic poem, and in this we came to know as the theme already I told you the theme was death and betrayal, because here carpenter and walrus betrayed the oysters to bring them far away from their place, and then afterwards, because they were in this misunderstanding that they are going to discuss something and they were going to have a treat, but in place of treat, walrus and carpenter just have eaten them. So this was the poem, Walrus and the Carpenter. I hope you would have understood this poem, and it would help you to understand it in a better way. Have a nice day ahead, everyone. Goodbye.